in arts pertaining to how we can think of something, and you'll find that people will join you. I'm posting this right now, shelter in place coding.slack.com. I just posted that. That's the URL to go to join Slack for those who are not there. I have over 100, I have 116 people, 121 people on Slack. Oh, and by the way, 32 middle schoolers, 5 elementary, 16 low high school, 3 high school, and 4 adults have responded. So that gives a total of about 50 odd. So I have about 50 more people, at least, to respond to the poll on Slack. Okay, so let's get going. Any other questions at this point? Okay, good. So today, again, the exciting class. The first question out to you is, who inspires you, right? Is it Mark Zuckerberg and what he did with Facebook? Remember, Facebook was really an idea that came out of the dorm at Harvard. Mark was a student, and he just hated. And this shows the passion and the problem part of things, right? Mark just hated how collaboration happened in schools with respect to people sharing ideas with each other, with people collaborating with each other, communicating, etc. And the Facebook was born at Harvard, which later became Facebook. And the problem that Mark uncovered was not just pertinent to universities and people collaborating within the universities, but the world. So much so that now over 2 billion people are on Facebook. And if you combine messaging aspects of Facebook with WhatsApp and the photo and video sharing, which is Instagram, now half the world's population is using what Mark has created as part of it. That's very inspiring for me. Or is it, I know a lot of people watch Shark Tank. I got a lot of questions regarding Shark Tank, and yes, our finals where we present to VCs will be like Shark Tank, where you present your idea in front of judges. In this case, the judges will be VCs and our repeat entrepreneurs, just like Shark Tank. So is it Lori from Shark Tank? Is it Richard Branson who created the Virgin Group? And Virgin Group is really, if you look at it, unlike Facebook, Virgin Group is such a diversified set of businesses. There's Virgin Airlines, there's Virgin as a mobile services company, with Virgin as a media company that Sir Richard Branson has created. Or is it Oprah Winfrey, or is it Elon Musk, or Jack Dorsey? So let's try to remain remain civil here and see one by one if people can shout out who inspires them, or put it on the group chat. I will read some out as I come. Who inspires you? Unmute yourself and speak, please. Messi, Bill Gates, Melinda Gates. I like that. Steve Jobs, Ellen DeGeneres. I like that. Steve Jobs again. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Bill Gates.
No, actually, it's Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, nice. Steve Jobs again on the chat. Reed Hastings on chat. Tech Giants on chat. Stephen Hawking, I like that. My dad, wonderful. I love that. I love that. Walt Disney, which is Iger. I'm sorry, Walt himself. Sorry. Michelle Obama, me too. I'm very inspired by Michelle. Oprah. LeBron James, yeah. Curry, me too. Go Warriors. John Lynch, Neil Armstrong, love that. Curry Man, yes, indeed. Jack Ma, very nice. Jeff Bezos, Curry again. Dr. Abdul Kalam, love that idea. I'm also inspired by Dr. Abdul Kalam, what he's done, what he had done. Mamba Nation, Virat Kohli, I like that. I'm a cricketer myself. Osama bin Laden, okay. Huge stop. Tiger Woods, me, okay. We have some uncivil people here. Kobe Bryant, I like that. Jay Chaudhary, okay, good. Wayne Gretzky, that's a good one too. unique one. Um, so whoever is posting Nidhi likes her dad. I salute you, Nidhi, for that. My dad was my true inspiration. Yeah, just hats off, salute to you. Carnegie, very good. Wayne Gretzky, very good. So post something that we have not seen here. We've seen a bunch. We've seen Irfan Khan, that's a good one too. Sorry to see him go so early the day before yesterday. Gordon Ramsay, good. Post something that you've not seen here. David Warner, okay? Another cricketer.
How many people
Malala,
can
that's the one. YouTubers, Sam Puckett, George Washington, good one. Aisha Curry, yes, I like how Aisha Curry is doing the social side of the Curry family. I love that, what they do, Aisha and Stephen. Michael Phelps, yes, indeed. The most decorated Olympian, the same Bolt, yes, indeed. And before.
How many people can be on a startup team?
Wait, we're talking about Inspires You right now. Ask me a direct message question if it's not pertinent to what we're discussing. Okay, we'll stop now. Yes, it is great to have, as you grow up, to look up at some people and study their traits, study what makes them who they are. And really, the question I want each of you to answer, you've named these names, the question I want each of you to answer is, what traits in these people inspires you? What is it in them that makes you get inspired by them, right? So think about that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a homework today on exactly that. All right, so let's jump into my favorite part, the quotes that I have collected. Again, I have 1,000+ quotes that I collect, but here we jump into quotes. A successful entrepreneur is a leader. Okay? So what makes a leader? So let's talk who inspires you. Let's start the trail of, and if anybody wants to speak up, what, in your opinion, what trait makes a good leader?
May I answer, sir?
Yes, please.
What?
Yes. A good leader is someone who can assess his colleagues' abilities and his strengths and set them to work in those respective fields.
Love that. Very good. Very good answer. Others?
May I answer?
A leader requires confidence. Agreed. To listen to all opinions. Agreed.
May I speak?
Yes, please. Just speak up and mute. Unmute yourself. Speak up and mute. If you speak over someone, then wait and then wait. Speak later. Please speak up.
A leader that can deal with stress and hard situations.
Deal with stress and handle all situations. I love that. Yes.
May I say one more, sir?
Asserts authority. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yes. A leader is also someone who can set his people to a task that they don't like and make them enjoy it.
Well said.
May I
Another
answer
good
one?
one. Thank you.
That was taught to me by my father, sir.
Can I say one?
Wonderful. Problem solver. I love that.
Can I
A
answer one?
leader, can I answer one?
Yes, please.
A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way.
Goes the way, shows the way. Wonderful. I like that. I should write that down. I should write a few of these down. Very good. Initiative. I like that. Respect, not fear. Very important. You want people to follow you. You don't want to force them to follow you. Wonderful. The leader's
Can I say one?
Yes, please.
Very talented.
Talented. I like that.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Their dedication and will to do something for the people's good instead of themselves.
Yes, that's a very good one, and that goes into
Yes.
a very sweet spot for me personally. which
A
we
leader
talked
is a
about in
very
class number
open-minded
one.
person, sir.
Social good. Hold on, whoever's talking, hold on. The social good part is such an important trait of a leader, right? If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, there are a few of you who were inspired by Bill Gates, but a few also mentioned Melinda along with Bill Gates. And if you look at Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill and Melinda Gates and all the good that they're doing, that's also a big trait in a leader, to give back. So I really, really appreciate whoever just talked about this last point. Well said, thank you. Caring, I like that. Look, these are all important points. And integrity, that I was hoping someone would say that, and someone just said that in the chat. Absolutely, integrity is such a big part of our leadership. Integrity is the cornerstone of everything we do. Social good comes from integrity. A lot of these things where we are not disrespectful to people, as when you make people follow you, you help them. All of that comes from the core of integrity. Integrity is such an important part of who we are. Here are some of the things that I put into a slide. I won't go into it anymore because you guys have covered in terms of your input. Thank you for that.
Roxanne.
What I like to put out again in my, I'm sorry, was there another input? One other person was saying something, I'm sorry. Okay. What I like to put out, is this Ogilvy is a part of WPP, my previous employer, who I just left. And David Ogilvy founded this, the largest creative advertising company in the world. Ogilvy, most of you don't hear, but then when you see these ads on TV, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, etc., you should know that there is a creative agency that creates that. And David Ogilvy is known to be one of the most inspiring leaders in the advertising space. So I thought I would put this in because it not only covers the must-have traits, but also covers a few interesting things. And I want to see if you people agree with me. Let's go to number 10 at the bottom, a sense of humor. Why is that important in a leader? Why do you think the sense of humor is important that David Ogilvy thought he would put it in as one of the top 10 traits in a leader? Yes, Krisha, please talk.
I think a leader needs humor because they can't always be serious, otherwise their team might not get to like them, and they have to have a friendly mood to keep them motivated.
You have to be funny to be liked. I'm not disagreeing with your answer, it's a good answer. Well, think about it, right? Think about you as a leader have to inspire people. And if you show up with a poker face versus bring people along in a journey where you make their life fun, maybe that needs a sense of humor, right? But again, this list is worth debating, and it has some very interesting facets that I thought I would put in, because generally when you try to find top 10 traits in a leader, we would literally find what we just talked about in the last slide, right? But Ogilvy thought about bringing in a streak of unorthodoxy, right? Look at number, what's it, 7, a streak of unorthodoxy, right? Interesting one, right? Unorthodoxy. You don't have to be, as a leader, you don't have to play by the book. You can play with outside. My favorite one, which I don't think we have discussed here today, is, and I talked about it last week, and I promise you, every class and every interaction with me, I will talk to you about it, which is hard work. And my favorite personal quote is, there is no substitute for hard work. There is no substitute for hard work, right? If you have to be a leader, and if you have to have people lead you, and follow you, I mean, they have to see that you're working hard. Delegation and such is great, but I think one of the more core characteristic of a leader is the ability to put in and burn the midnight oil, as David says here. Any other observations on this And list, again, I put it up because it was not a traditional list as you would imagine. It has some gotchas in here that I wanted to foster in a way thinking amongst you guys.
I think you have to be an inspiring enthusiast with trust and gusto, because you have to make it so that you like it, and if you like it, you can be a role model for others, and others will start liking it.
Well said. I love how you put it. Agree, 100%. Anybody else? Well, reflect on this, right? Again, I post all my slides. Reflect on this a bit when you get a chance. And again, you don't have to come and read it, but reflect. What kind of leader do you want to be when you grow up? Because I see each one of you becoming leaders of the next generation. I see you becoming founders of startups, or I see you become CEOs of companies. Think about what kind of leader you want to be. And in a way, if you look at it, right, who inspires you is correlated to the kind of leader you want to be. Because if you're inspired by a Bill and Melinda Gates, then you fundamentally have that need to do social good as an important trait in your leadership set. But if LeBron James is someone who you're inspired by, then you want to be someone who is the best in an area of focus, and people follow that kind of a leader purely because they know that they are not the best and they can be better by following that person. So it's a different set of criteria that will form in your own mind as to what kind of leader you want to be. But it's important to reflect on that. And again, we'll talk more about the homework for today, which I will try to bring out in each of you. It should be fun, today's homework. Okay. Here's another one we haven't discussed. And I purposefully put this one in. I sit with CEOs of companies. I sit with venture capitalists. I sit with billionaires. And I observe this, right? Everybody has this deep desire to talk and to be heard, but very few people sit back and listen, right? And the holy Dalai Lama has said, when you talk, you're only repeating what you know. But when you listen, you learn something new. My favorite quote in this, I don't know who said it, but there is a reason why God gave you one mouth and 2 ears. You should listen to at least 2 times more than you speak, at least, right? Listening is such an important trait. And again, when we go through a traditional list of what makes a leader, good listening skills sometimes doesn't figure in there. I don't know why. It has to fit in there. Okay. The other thing that I want to inculcate, and again, these slides have deep purpose as I think through what to present to you, is the importance of teamwork. And I'm going to go out on a limb and give you a big tip for how do you succeed in this course, but not just in how do you succeed in life, right? It is all about teamwork. It is all about teamwork. There's no one who has even Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs who's built on Facebook and Apple without a team, right? So the importance of working as a team. And as I look at you guys and your coursework and I grade your business plan, I will be looking very closely as to how much teamwork you're exhibiting, how you are supporting each other as a team rather than bringing it down. I've had people who go through my course go up on stage and say, you know what, I did all the work, the rest of the guys were generally not there. And you know what, when you are presenting in such a way, none of the VCs are going to fund you. In this course, you will not get high marks if you exhibit lack of teamwork. I want you to go up there and say, look, here's my great team. We divided our tasks. One of us became the sales leader and we contributed. and made all the decisions on sales based on this person's maximal input, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the value of teamwork for not just this course, but for life is supremely important. I love this, it's not really a code, but image. You see these ants you see how worker ants, carry food, and you see how these ants are helping the others cross a divide by making a ant-made, I was going to say man-made, ant-made bridge. Such amazing teamwork. So much we can learn from ants. Just look at that.
This is kind of like a unrelated question, but like, what's the maximum people in for a group again?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Whoever it is asking the question, please speak up.
What is the maximum number of people in a group again?
That question is not pertinent to what we're discussing right now, but we said, I'll answer it, 3 to 5 people. I'd like to keep it to 3, but maximum 5. Okay. Now, John Maxwell is a very famous author. He's written many great books on leadership. If you go to a bookstore, you're sure to see, if you're searching on leadership and principles of leadership, you're certain to come across his books. So good leadership isn't about advancing yourself. It is not about advancing yourself. As I mentioned, it's about advancing the team. It's us. It's not about me, I, myself, mine. It's about us. It's about we. It's about how we have brought this idea forward. It's about how we accomplished what we are going to do. It's about how we are going to be successful as a startup. It's about how we are going to take this forward and win this business plan competition. This is a very important lesson for you because again, a lot of people fail in this course because they keep it about I, myself. The other thing, I want to kind of segue a little bit and jump into Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. And Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, as you know, are different from the entrepreneurs that we find outside because those are more traditional businesses, whereas Silicon Valley entrepreneurs are more venture capital based. And one of the key traits that we talk about is risk takers. And so I saw at least 3 or 4 people say Reid Hoffman to be their inspiration. So I love this quote from Reid: "An entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on his way down." Just think about the profound point that he's making here. Unless you can take risks, you can get the big return. The more the risk you take, the bigger the return possibility is. So as you think about whether you are made to be an entrepreneur or not, as you think about in your career, if you want to kind of be a Silicon Valley-like entrepreneur, think about how much risk-taking appetite So again, Reid's quote is here. Just look at this one. This blows me away. Right? Elon Musk, from South Africa, came all the way here to the US, and he did well with PayPal, but he put every cent that he earned, just so much so that he didn't have money to pay rent, in what he was really passionate about, right? And he's passionate about changing human lives, and he put all of his money into Tesla, SpaceX, and SolarCity, and see where he is today. Right? Look at Tesla, and his worth today is just a few $1 billion. So Elon Musk is also an inspiration. What are some of the other key traits I want to make sure you guys walk away from today's course? So one of the things I see a lot with business plans that I evaluate, that when I sit to look at entrepreneurs and we invest in teams is this concept of fear, right? And when VCs look at investing in companies, they don't like to see fear because fear is something that will hold you back. Fear is something that will not allow you to take risks, as we talked about. Fear is something that holds people back. How do you move boldly forward? If you're really passionate about what you do, and if you really think your idea is worth a metal, how can you fearlessly go forward? So Jack Canfield was also a very famous author that writes again about leadership, really talks about how you have to be on the other side of fear. Michael Jordan, right? And this is one of the things we see a lot here in Silicon Valley, right? I think I mentioned last time, there is not one company which has the same idea as it started. And there's this concept called pivot. And we'll talk about pivot in the following weeks. But look at Michael Jordan, right? I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, lost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take a game-winning shot and missed, right? I failed over and over again. And because I fail over and over again, that is why I succeed, right? Next week, I will talk about the beginning aspect of business plans. We'll talk about Mark Zuckerberg and how he brought Facebook up from zero to where it is today. And he talks about this concept called fail fast. So his concept is, yes, it's good, it's okay to fail fast and learn from the failure and move forward because that's what will make you succeed. And this quote really exemplifies it from Michael Jordan. And then again, the opposite of fear is being strong. In the Silicon Valley, there'll be so many storms you have to weather, and you have to pursue it with all the strength you have. I love this quote. Deep inside of you is more strength than you ever know. Okay, I cannot have a presentation and not have a quote by the great Mahatma Gandhi. Please mute yourself whether it's speaking. And this is about values, right? So it's great to be a risk taker. It's great to be to have strength. It's great to have those traits. But we want to talk about integrity and value integrity. And no better person teaches values than the great Mahatma. So your beliefs become your thoughts. The thoughts become your words. So what you speak, this comes from how you're thinking about things. Your words become your actions, how you speak. And what you speak, your actions become that. Your actions become your habits. So you imbibe what you do over and over again as your habits. And your habits really are what you exhibit as your values. And your values ultimately become your destiny, right? So people without values who think it's okay to steal may end up in jail, but people who have integrity, a lot of times the destiny is different from that person who ends up in jail. So it's very important to think about integrity and values as you go through this journey. And this is a beautiful quote from one of my inspirations, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett started with nothing, zero, and look at what he is doing today and how much he's built today. But he says, look for three things in people, right? Look for intelligence, look for energy, look for integrity. And if they don't have the last one, don't even bother them with the first two. So he says, start with integrity, end with integrity, then look for other things, which is such an important aspect. Again, if you have integrity, you'll be a great leader, as we talked about. If you have integrity, you will also, as you become super rich, make sure you keep giving back in social good in everything you do. And that perfectly segues into social good. And again, Every class, you will hear me be a broken record on a couple of things. One is hard work, as I mentioned, and the other one is social good. So help people, even when you know that they can't help you back. Always help people. And I don't mean to, be in a teaching mode here, but it's important as we learn leadership, as we learn about how we want to be inspired. We want to also make sure we're inspired by the social side. Okay. So in conclusion, and then I'll answer questions when we talk about homework for today and such. All of the traits that we discussed today basically reflect what I call a person to be mentally strong. And I'm concluding with what makes a person mentally strong. Or another way to put it is 18 things that mentally strong people do. I'd like you to pause for a second and read this if you can. I don't necessarily want to go through it, but I will talk about a couple. It's okay, Valerie. Made an accident. It's okay, not a problem. So 18 things that mentally strong people do. Reflect on this for a second, and then I'll ask you which are your favorites. My favorites are they are kind, they evaluate their core beliefs, they enjoy their time alone.
I want to take a screenshot. You're not doing it.
They accept full responsibility for their past behavior. You and you alone are responsible for your behavior.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So the primary quality and trait of entrepreneurs is basically to think productively, creatively, and have that leadership, so that willingness to fail and that ability to succeed.
I can say that there is a primary, right?
Oh, because you'll have there's multiple traits it takes to be an entrepreneur.
That's right. That's right.
Ah, I see.
I'm hoping that today's this discussion we've had kind of gives you a good idea as to if you look at some very successful entrepreneurs, what it's, and not just in a way you can form like a Jordan James, but again, Jordan or James.
Look at along.
What jumps out to you from this? Let's do a quick 2 minutes. Let's see what jumps out to you about what mentally strong people do that jumps out. Is my voice fading? Yeah. Maybe I was going too back. I would speak closer to my monitor.
Excuse me, can you repeat what you said earlier? You were cutting off.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I was saying was, what jumps out to you guys in terms of traits of mentally strong people? There are some new ones in this one that we not discussed earlier, like full responsibility for past behaviors, like they celebrate other people's success. Again, a big team trait. Your background noise, nothing but a quiet.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yep.
So can you explain in a deeper meaning what integrity of a leader means?
So integrity is a very amorphous term, right? Integrity starts and in a way ends with honesty. Integrity starts and ends with what I call follow up and follow through. When you say something, you do something, what I call say do. Integrity is really, if you look at yourself and you look at yourself in the mirror and you want to be an honest and responsible citizen, you like that person that you're looking at. You think you're imbibing those qualities that make you a good citizen, a good human being, a good leader, that care for your team, care for your people, that you're not going to, do things that are not right to succeed, right? Integrity has all of those. And again, it's very amorphous. It's very fuzzy in terms of needing to define it. I'm sure the Oxford Dictionary has a great definition. But for me, it has all of those qualities. At the end of the day, are you happy with the person you see in the mirror?
So, sir, is it just behavioral traits that make an entrepreneur an entrepreneur, or are there other traits?
Very good question. I talked about, there is a lot of DNA, which is what you've inherited in terms of genetics, that also make a good entrepreneur, right? One
Yes.
can argue your ability to take risks. Is that a learned behavior, or is that an inherited behavior? There's certain people who are much better at taking risks versus not. Another one of them is hard work, right? Is hard work purely learned, or is it that you have it in you that you can focus on things and really hunker down and get things done by really putting in a lot of power on it, right? I would say that most of these have a combination, right? We're all fortunate that we're not born with autism of some kind or ADD or such, right? But those people have genetically don't have the ability sometimes to focus. So not all traits are learned traits, but at the same time, I truly believe that you are a master of your habits, right? And habits, a lot of times, can be developed too. There are some wonderful books I'm happy to recommend. One of the other things I do is I read a lot of books. I'm happy to recommend leadership books and such. Or if you go to my profile page, asate.me, you'll see a list of all the books I'm reading or have read recently in my Goodreads thing. So again, the big question back, again, I'm not answering the question, is are habits also inherited, or can habits be built? So again, it's very amorphous. Sorry, I didn't quite give you the direct answer. Okay, we're reaching close to the end. I want to jump into what I'd like from you this week. If there are any other thoughts from anyone? If not, are there any questions? I know some people had some questions about teams. Teams would be 3 to 5 people. I would prefer 3, maximum 4, but 5 is okay. Let's keep it to 3 or 4, if possible.
Say what?
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's your exercise for me. And like last time, you would direct message it to me. So that means you will go to the left in Slack and look at and search for me and then direct message me right there. What I'd like you to do is think about an entrepreneur who inspires you. I would prefer that entrepreneur is not Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, right? Because everybody knows about it. I'd like you to think about someone else. And this is where I talked about that reflection, right? someone will be more inspired by Oprah Winfrey versus LeBron James because they have different personalities and traits that make them who they are. So uncover 3 interesting qualities about your entrepreneur who inspires you, and send it over to me. I will talk to you about each of you about it. We'll have a good discussion. Make sense? For those who missed their homework, I will pin it onto the right side. I will also pin today's presentation onto the right side of Slack. Whoever is not on Slack, join Slack immediately. Shelter in place coding, one word, .slack.com. Okay, I'm going to call it a wrap today unless there are any questions.
Do we do this homework as a group or individually?
I would prefer for you to do it individually, but I know you guys have formed groups, and if you think your group can come up with a startup idea that you think is inspired by a certain entrepreneur, then submit it as a group. That's fine.
May I ask a question as well?
Yes, please.
So for the end of this whole project, what's going to be the outcome of it? What is the ending?
Yeah, great question. So starting from next week, I will start introducing you guys to, as I talked last week, the pieces of the puzzle. And the puzzle here is a business plan, right? So the end point of this course is when you present on the tech day, the Shark Tank. What people in Shark Tank will do is to present a business plan to the sharks. So similarly, you will have a completed business plan with all of the pieces of the puzzle. The pieces of the puzzle specifically are: what's your financial plan, what's your marketing plan, what's your sales plan, what's your technology, what's your product, what IP do you have. And so from next week onwards, we really start to uncover that puzzle. And I'll teach you 1 week after the other, week after week, each of the pieces of the puzzle. Financials 1 week, marketing 1 week, tech and IP 1 week, product 1 week. It'll be fun.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Is there a difference between sales and marketing, or do they have the same primary objective?
Great question. We will cover that in week 7, I believe, or 6. But very quickly to answer your question, sales and marketing are very, very different. Sales is about selling your product and getting it to end customers who actually pay you for it, right? So suppose you have a basketball to sell. You are going to solicit from LeBron, hey, I have this new basketball, pay me $50 for it. And if he pays you $50, you have achieved the sale. Now, LeBron's going to tell you, hey, look, I mean, why should I buy your basketball? I have 50 other basketballs lying with me, and I'm very happy with it. So now what you have to do is you have to develop a unique value proposition why your basketball is better than the other balls. And you have to build a story around it. And that's what is marketing. Marketing is about building the value proposition such that you can achieve your sales goals. Where sales and marketing therefore play hand in hand. And marketing helps you build a story and the value proposition that when you do go to LeBron, he has heard of you and he says, look, yeah, I want to buy 10 of those basketballs. And lo and behold, you achieve sales of the basketball because of the good marketing that you were able to do about that basketball. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. We're going to pull it up for today, unless there are any other questions. And again, if anybody has any questions, I'm answering every question sent to me on direct message on Slack. I'm happy to stay on for a few minutes. But for those who want to drop out, I saw someone said, I'm hungry. Please go get your dinner. Thank you all. This was my favorite class of the 8 weeks, one of my favorite classes. I enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you much, guys.
Thank you.
I'll stay on for a couple of minutes if there are any questions.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Will this be posted very soon, sir? I just wanted to go over this entire video again.
Yes. I'll be
Alright.
posting the slides. I'll be posting all the slides on Slack literally after I get out from here.
All right, perfect, sir.
I have a question about the chat. Is there a way we can get people to stop texting or spamming the chat so much with unnecessary things?
What do you think? Can you convince your teen friends to stop being teenagers?
We future entrepreneurs are going to make a profit. That is if we pay attention in class.
Yeah, I do see a question that says, Stephanie, does a business have to make profit or can be a non-profit? I'm happy with both ways for this class. Okay, we'll call it a wrap. Thank you all again. Again, any questions, I'm on Slack. Take care, y'all.